Hello, good evening, and welcome to Full Time Reds. It's me and it's Kev on as normal. Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. Final score just in the last couple of minutes from Stamford Bridge. A massive blow to Liverpool in a title race that they needed to win this one. They really needed to win this one to keep pressure on and keep that gap to 6 points. It hasn't developed, and a game in hand, it looked like at best 8 points behind City now, with all games being equal. Kev, we're going to do a show on the Fatback 4 at 10 o'clock when Keith and when Shawnee join us later on. But just your immediate reaction to that, because I am disgusted. I really am. I'm really annoyed at this.
I'm angry at the performance, but not the result. The result was a fair reflection of the game. There's no arguing with that. But neither side did enough to win it. We had better chances, I think. They had more of the ball and more control of certain parts of the game, but we had better chances. Mendy pulled off some brilliant saves. But overall, over the 90 minutes, 2-2, wouldn't argue with it. Some really great goals in that as well. But disappointed in the midfield three performance.
Yeah.
We never got control. We never got a grip of it. And look, fair play to Chelsea and how they came back from the game they had the other day, where they looked dead on their feet and they were right up for this, and we just couldn't match their intensity in that first half. Nowhere near it. And even at 2-0 up, it flattered us massively. We were very good in the break, but at 2-0 up, it flattered us massively. We never really got any kind of grip at all on it. And that was all the way through up until Chelsea made a change and went 5-3-2.
Yeah, and do you know something like when you look at it, we go through the goals quickly as well in this show, but we're keeping all the kind of analysis when we settle down for 10 o'clock later. But, you know, besides the goals, I just thought with us, it was one of those where, Kev, we never took control of the game.
No.
Like, we three midfield there, and they didn't take control. They didn't get down and play it. Someone says there in the chat, and it's probably one of many, says that the passing was shocking. The midfield three just didn't get a hold of this game whatsoever. You know, and even when we go ahead and then we make it 2-0, we're still never in control. We don't look like we're trying to press them and, you know, be aggressive, or sit back and look to close off passing lanes and nick balls and then look to hit them on the break. It looked very uncoordinated. It was neither or. Yeah, you know, if we'd have went in there and says, right, we're 1-0 up, now we're 2-0 up, we're going to sit in. We're going to put Fabinho in there. We're probably going to drop Henderson even closer to him, you know, and let Milner walk away on the left hand side or whatever. You go fine, or we're going to press them really fucking high and we're not going to let them out, and that makes the high line look like it's walkable. You go fine, but it was in between, wasn't it?
It was very in between, and it was frustrating to watch because you could see it. You could see the goals coming. I mean, look, the goals they scored, the first one, nobody could do anything about it. It was just one of those that you just, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, there was no stopping that goal. And it was an absolute brilliant. It was one of the best goals I've seen this season. The second one annoyed the fuck and frustrated me a lot more.
No, you can say that.
Because there was two or three opportunities to stop that. And it's just one of those games. You know, it's an annoying game. It was a great game to watch, but it was annoying because that's the first time, I think, in a long time where we've seen some side outwork us for 90 minutes, for more or less 90 minutes. They outworked us, and that doesn't happen often.
Anthony says, let's not sugarcoat it. Abysmal performance from us, apart from being clinical in our goals. We were last at every second ball, and Chelsea played right through us. The title now realistically gone. I spoke about this after the Leicester game, where I felt application. You know, and I'm not buying this. Like someone says there, we look lethargic. Just says that we look lethargic. Not sure if players like Fraser Van Dijk are still struggling with COVID, but we looked scary, to be honest. Highline was suicidal today. I'm not buying that.
No.
I'm not buying that. We know how to play that game. We've played it for so long. We've been so good. And I don't know if it's application, Kev. Am I being a bit harsh when I say that? But it just looks to me like we're going in and going, we'll go 85% here and we'll be enough.
No, I don't think so. I honestly think the two in midfield for Chelsea, and they played their game out wide. They played. They didn't really hold the ball in midfield that much. They played it out wide as soon as possible. We'll get into it a lot more later on, but I don't think it was work. It was just, I mean, tactically, Tuchel got it really right, and we never adapted to it in the game. And you could see what needed to happen. It was frustrating. Anyone who's watching it could see the midfield needed to be tighter, and let Chelsea have the ball wide if they want. Who are they putting the ball? Who are they putting crosses into? Nobody.
Mm.
It wouldn't matter. But we chased them out wide, and that left gaps, and they exploited the gaps really, really well. I mean, Kelleher was outstanding today.
Yeah, he was great.
You know, the only thing that I would be a bit annoyed with him about was some of his distribution was very safe.
Mm.
You know, where he could have he's got it in him to go out to go wide instead of go through the middle with a short safe pass and put Fabinho into trouble a couple of times. He could have gone wide to Simicast or wide to Trent or up to Mo and play the game from there. You know, but that's just a side thing. I mean, the one save that he had to make, the point blank one, was brilliant save, brilliant reaction save. Yeah, I was at him, but it was a really good parry away as well. There was no danger of it being of someone getting a rebound off it. But in general, the back four, I thought Kanate was very shaky at times.
Yeah.
Pace wise, he was okay. You know, he didn't get dumped for pace by anyone really, but he wasn't as aggressive in his defending as you'd like to see, especially for the second goal. He could have been a lot more aggressive in that part. If at worst take a foul, so what? Yeah, but
It's Dean says we made systematic changes this season to be more attacking. The problem is we don't have the players fit to play that system and negate the defensive issue it causes. This season is on Klopp for me. I kind of get where you're coming from there. I think it's a big shout to say it's on Klopp. You know, because when I see what we're giving away, like the first goal, we got on to air goals as well, but the first goal, like I think it's Milner gives away a cheap free, and it's headed out, and he just hits a brilliant one. No one's saving it, you know. But
no.
the second one for me,
Henderson tried to get out, but
yeah,
even the reaction for him to get out was as good as you're going to get. It was instant. He got out as fast as he could,
yeah,
and he just couldn't get to it. It was just a great hit in the
it
corner,
was a great hit.
off the post.
But the second one,
That's
like
it.
the second one isn't down to like when I look at the second one, I think there's panic in the midfield. It's a
Yeah,
panicky header. You know, it breaks, it goes in. Rudiger wins a challenge, fair enough. It ends up falling at Kante's feet, and he just loops one into space.
yeah.
And you know,
Kanate has to do more
yeah,
to block that out.
yeah, Canada has to do more, but that's there's no way Klopp sending them out to do that.
No,
Do
of
you get
course
me?
not.
Like if Klopp sent them out and said, "I want you to press, 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 press," and he puts Henderson and Milner in the midfield, you go, "That's on Klopp." But they didn't press and he didn't sit. You know, my idea when I seen that lineup was that Fabinho and Henderson were going to get quite close to each other to protect and let Milner just shut off the left hand side. You know how they do it; they keep shifting with each
Yeah,
other all the time and look to play them on the break. But if you don't press and you don't sit, you can't play a high line because you don't have press. Okay, you don't have a press on them so they can't pick a pass over that high line. And if you don't sit back, you don't have the protection there anyway. And just in case somebody gets in around you, you don't have the bodies there. They were all over the place.
Mm.
Was Mane lucky to stay on the pitch?
I'd say that if there was an orange card, then it would have been orange. It wasn't as if he went like that.
Mm.
You know, he put the arm. He knew what he was doing. You know, he knew he was going to lay one on him, but he never pushed forward with his arm
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. So it was yellow. It was definite yellow.
Mm-hmm.
There would have been an argument there if it was a red. You would have argued if it was a red because there was one later on Kanate that was pretty much identical.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those that no, it's not a red card.
Okay. Mane gets the
And
first goal. Go on, sorry, Kev.
I was going to say, and neither was the one for Mason Mount later on when he had a nibble at
Simicast.
Simicast.
Yeah.
Wasn't a red card.
No. No.
And you won't hear me say this very often. I thought the ref had a good game. I thought he managed it pretty well.
Yeah, there wasn't too much to
Overall,
give out about.
he got them. Yeah, he got the major decisions right, and I won't dwell on it, but he managed the game pretty well.
Yeah, because we got one up, and Chalobah makes an awful mistake with a ball through from. I'm trying to think who it was. Who puts the ball through? Ball's played in, turns on it.
Trent, wasn't it?
Was it Trent?
It came in that side.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know what he's trying to do. If he stands still and just lets the ball hit him, he cuts it out. But he gets caught, deciding what to do, tries to put his head in it. Manny gets onto it, rounds Mendy and sticks it in the net, and it's 1-0. And you're kind of going, that's a brilliant start, 9 minutes in. And even
against the run of play.
Yeah, against the run of play, but you're looking at it then, and you're still looking, saying, what are we trying to do here? You know, were we trying to... I felt like we were trying to take too many risks. And what I mean by that is, I'm not asking to be ultra defensive, but if you want to protect, go and do it. Whereas it was a case of, we won't press, we won't sit, we'll just go somewhere in the middle and we might pick up something and we'll have more bodies to get at them.
We left 3 up in the first half almost all the time.
Yeah, but if you leave 3 up, they need to press, or you need to press right in behind them. Because the pitch gets too big, Kev. You can have have 5 up front, but if you don't have the 5 behind structured to follow them up and back them up, you're just making the pitch way too big, and that's where pockets get picked. But then we make it 2-0, you know. And I thought Chelsea were awful for this one because Salah plays a simple ball into the middle of the park, or just inside, and you see him in the corner of the screen playing it, and next of all Trent just looks and clips one, and 3 Chelsea players just looking at Salah running through. Rudiger is miles off. Salah does brilliantly to get the player one-on-one, goes by him. Mendy is poor for me, but Salah sees the gap. And I thought when we got that, it'd settle us, Kev, because I seen a couple of Chelsea players on, hands on knees. I thought
their heads would go.
Yeah, Rudiger.
I thought their heads would go at that.
Rudiger, I think Azpilicueta might have been the one that was on the ground in the middle of the box when it goes in.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that'll settle us down. That's 2-0, and like you said, they looked out on their feet on the last game. Liverpool have had a break. All right, they've played Leicester, but our experience in winning games and our, I wouldn't say game management, because I don't think our game management was good, but that extra bit of fitness would see us through. And then it's definitely the time to decide whether you're going to press home to the advantage or sit off and give them a bit of the ball. What way do you want to play this? But it's 2-0. You're thinking, Kev, this is fucking great. And I'm not messing Kev 2 minutes before they score. All I kept saying was just go to half-time. Just blow the half-time.
I was saying the same. I couldn't see him scoring. Honest to God, I couldn't see him scoring because no matter what they did, we had an answer for it. And they never worked Kelleher up until that point. Kelleher had nothing to do. It was a standing and watching brief. We'd managed to keep them at arm's length almost right up to their first goal. Yeah, they had the ball and they looked threatening, but there was nothing with the threats. They were pulling midfield apart. They were getting the ball wide. They were running at fullbacks. They were cutting it back in and all that, but they weren't threatening. And everything changed on the first goal. That gave them hope, especially just going in on half-time and followed it up with the second. The crowd up, got everyone up for it. And then it was almost a case at the end that, whatever happens, don't lose it.
Yeah.
Because that would have been soul-destroying.
Yeah. Kevin Ball is having a right go about signings in the summer and stuff like that. I'm not going to get into it now, Kev, but at 10 o'clock we will, because I know Shawnee feels strongly over it. So, and as always on this channel, we'll have a balanced debate over it and a balanced chat over it. Tommy C says Tyler and Neville's reactions to Chelsea's compared to Liverpool's goals. Absolutely, I don't know why I watch them. I keep saying it. Why do you keep watching it? But then it goes 2-2, Kevin. It's half time, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know where it's going to go now, because I don't know if I don't know if Chelsea are going to tire. I don't know if Liverpool are going to come out and go at them or stay cagey or whatever. But it just turned into a bit of a mad game. It just turned into a bit of a mad game. It was like half chance here, half chance there.
Yeah,
Chelsea probably the better of it, territorially and on the ball, but
we definitely had the better chances.
Yeah.
Even
Chelsea
that
the better with regards to the ball. I mean,
they had the better of the ball, and they used it pretty well. Look, they're no mugs. You go to Stamford Bridge any other season, you take a 2-2 and you're happy. You're walking away. Not from 2-0 up, obviously, but in the grand scheme of things, you look at the fixture list at the start of the season. Oh, for New Year's Day, Chelsea away. Fuck, that's going to be a big one. Take a draw at that one. That'd be all right. But in the context of this season, draws just don't cut it, and we've got way too many.
Yeah,
way too many.
I think it means now Liverpool win their game in hand against Leeds. It'd be 8 points of difference. Even if you were to go and beat City, it's 5. With 15, it'd be about 15 league games left.
It would take a monumental collapse of epic.
It's going to take a win. It's going to take us having to beat City, and look for them to have 2 more slips and us to be nigh on perfect.
But after watching them against Arsenal, you'd hope that other sides would have a go at them more, because Arsenal had a good go at them yesterday, and they were their own stupidity away from getting 3 points yesterday, and it was their own stupidity that cost them. You know, they've no one to blame but themselves. But their attitude and the way they played was the right way to play Man City. Leon proved it a couple of years ago. That's how you play Man City. You attack them. You take your risks, but the rewards are there because they're not used to playing against sides who attack them like that. I mean, I don't know. If we were to win the title from here, it'd be madness. It would be absolutely crazy. But the way this league is, you wouldn't know.
Yeah,
you'd never know.
So overall, it's a 2-2 draw. I think. I don't know if either team are happy with it because I think a lot is being made. I think a lot of it is being made of, you know, Chelsea are struggling here and struggling there. And then I look at Chelsea's lineup, and I said it the other night. They're getting players back all the time. They leave Lukaku out for other reasons, but you know, like when I said the other night, I felt that the only kind of sympathy I had for Chelsea was it's not so much a sympathy. It was a case of they have got really good players, but they haven't to play them an awful lot. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that happened again today, where he puts that team out. But like you see them, and they're going and going and going. So it ended up not being a fitness issue. But what do Liverpool do from here, Kev? You know, like we're going to get into it in more detail later with the 4 of us. But what do you feel Liverpool need to do now? Is it?
I don't know how they go at Arsenal at the League Cup. I honestly have no clue. After today, we've 11 players out.
Yeah,
and the league to me is still the be all and end all. Yeah, it's a League Cup semi-final, but I'm glad I'm not a manager because it's a difficult decision. The thing is, do you want a cup? And you know, happy days. And there's no guarantees that we're beating Arsenal on form at the minute.
Yeah, but Kev, like people are saying, like, right, here we go, right? So I'll put this up. Okay, the focus on Champions League, FA Cup, and League Cup. The league is done not because we are terrible, because City are too good, right? There's truth in both of those. I don't think Liverpool have been good enough.
Still have to get top 4.
Right? Yeah, Liverpool haven't been good enough. City have been brilliant, but I said this the other night to people: City play a different game to everybody else. Okay, and if you manage to get yourself involved in that game, it's great. It's absolutely great, and that's where some people's frustrations come from with regards to we should sign 1, 2, and 3 players because that might improve us more to get closer to City. City will just go and spend more and more again when they see what you do. You know what I mean? They're playing a different game, but that's no excuse. It's still a league. You still have to go for it, right? You only play them twice a season and all that. But you can't just focus on the Champions League, FA Cup, and League Cup. If we take a focus off the league here, right, without being too defeatist about it, you'll end up in an absolute dogfight for top 4.
Yeah.
You know, like we're 7 points clear of Arsenal. I think if other teams win their games in hand, we might be 5 clear of Spurs. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So
top 4 is not a given.
No, you have to go and listen. If you take City out of the equation, you have to go and get 80 plus points, right? Okay, it's usually around 76. When it goes up a high level, I think it's about mid 70s. Get your Champions League, but you can't just. When people say focus on this and focus on that, you can't. You can't. If Liverpool take focus, if we take our focus off a league for the next 5 games, where we recover, We could genuinely be sixth in the table.
Yeah.
Genuinely. Because if we were just focusing on something else, it's just one of those where other teams are going to pick up points. And then next of all, you could be, well, probably not sixth, but you could be around fourth or fifth and looking going, this is a real scrap now. And there's only 12 games left. Do you know the sort
You
of
could
way?
get very easily dragged into a
Exactly.
conversation around the top four.
Exactly.
Where at the minute we're a mile away from that conversation.
No, we're not in it. For me, we're not in a top four conversation.
No, I don't think so. But we could. It's like I look at the relegation thing. And 4 or 5 games ago, everyone was writing Newcastle off. You look at the table now, and it's like, hang on, no one's pulled away.
Yeah.
So they've been given a chance. If we're not careful, we could get dragged into a conversation that we don't want to be in. As much as I'd love it, to see us go to Wembley and lift the League Cup, would be absolutely great to have a trophy in the cabinet. The focus is the league. It has to be the league. And once Mane, Salah, and Naby go, we're down to 14 players because we've 11 out. And that's assuming we don't have any more positive tests between now and Thursday, which in all likelihood is very possible. Because it is going around the houses like wildfire.
But Craig Lowe says, how can we not focus on the Cups? The next Premier League game is the 17th of the 1st. Of course you're going to focus on the games as you're playing them. But the statement that was made in the chat a few minutes ago was not about just focus on he said focus on the Champions League. The Champions League's next game isn't until the middle of February or something.
In February, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the statement that was made was focus on this, the league is gone. You can't not focus on the league. You simply can't. You have to keep going and see where it takes you. I'm not saying Liverpool will win the next 6 or 7. They could. And we could be sitting in 6 or 7 games going, oh, do you know what? The gap, we've a game in hand and the gap is now 5 instead of 8. You know the sort of way. Or it could be 8 instead of 11, sorry. And we might get it to 5. You don't know. But you know what I mean? But you have to look at every game as it comes, but you can't take a focus off the league. Like, you're not going to, I'll put it to you this way, you're not going to play a second string in a league game because you have an FA Cup game coming up at the weekend. Now, I know that's not how it falls right now, but if you get through the next 2 rounds of the Cup, that's how it could fall. You know, you have a league game on a Wednesday, we're playing the Cup on Saturday, or play a second string in a league. You can't do it. The league is always your priority, always. Yeah. And then you have to try and mix it up with Champions League when you get near the end.
Yeah, for me, the thing is, you're going to look at Thursday night's fixture, and you'll know Thursday morning who's fit and available, and who can you pick from. That's when the decision's got to be made, and who can you manage. Is it a case that take Virgil out of the firing line for the next 10 days and he doesn't play at all? Joe Gomez starts, Konate starts, that kind of thing, and you look at it that way. Is it a case that we make a signing and we give them a couple of games to get their head in? Who knows? We have no idea.
No,
nobody knows. And anyone who says they do know, don't know.
Yeah, people have mentioned Salah there, Salah would be looking at this and having a look at wages and where the ambition is. Nobody knows what's going on with Salah. Nobody. There's reports out this morning that Salah is very positive over talks and stuff like that. But look, come off it. We don't know what's going on with Mo Salah. Yeah. 155 watching, 50 or so likes. So if you want to hit the like button, go ahead and as Red Steve says there, give the like button a little tickle. That's a nice one.
That's a nice one. I like that. Kevin Paul there is the only striker we have at the moment now is Jota. Yeah, it is. And, I don't know what the story is with Minamino and Origi. But there's an opportunity for Curtis to come in.
Yeah.
Because there is no one else. There's your opportunity now.
But Kev, I'll ask you this, and you don't have to answer it now. Have a think about it and come back to us at 10 if you want, right? I'll bring it with you at 10 o'clock because I'll make sure to call it out. Not you, Kev, Kevin Ball.
Okay.
You can relax there, Kev. You just keep drinking cans. But Kevin Ball, I'll ask you this, and I agree with you. Minamino, Origi, Jota. I get where you're coming from. The other two are either injured or COVID, I think. And that's the way it is at the moment. But I've said this for a while, Kevin. The next forward signing can't be a stopgap or a fella on a free transfer that you might do for 18 months. I think it has to be somebody, especially the way FSG operate. It has to be someone that you're looking long term. What would you do, Kevin, in the January transfer window. You don't have to answer it now, and if you do, I mightn't even see it. So, but I will check it out come 10 o'clock tonight. And we are going to talk about the transfer window, and we are going to talk about where it leaves Liverpool, and we are going to talk about, can we look back at the summer. Some agree that we shouldn't, or some agree that we shouldn't yet, and some think, we should do, because we feel like that's since the start of the season, despite being on a really good run of form. But look, we'll have to wait and see. Kev, you looking forward to tonight?
I'm going to need more cans, I think.
In a twisted way. You are.
It's my missus' birthday, so I got to be. It's her birthday today, so I got to go in now and I got to do the dutiful thing. We're going to sit down and we're going to watch Call the Midwife, because the new series starts tonight.
Right.
And we're going to have a lovely evening. And come 10 o'clock, she'll make her excuses to go upstairs, and I'll make my excuses to come out here, and we'll meet each other later on.
Good stuff. Happy birthday, Mrs. Kev. But look, we like coming on here. We like giving immediate reaction. The stuff in the chat does be brilliant as well. And, we like the 10 o'clock stuff because it gives us a chance to calm down a little bit, have a think about it, watch the highlights back as well, because you spot stuff that you haven't seen. And we will be back at 10 o'clock with the Fatback 4. If anyone is watching now, we will be setting that show up in the next hour or so you will find it on your YouTube feed if you want to hit the bell notification to know when we go live. But look, it's Chelsea 2, it's Liverpool 2. It's a disappointing result. It leaves Liverpool 11 points off Man City with a game in hand. And as someone said there earlier, they're not giving up yet. But you would have to look at winning your game in hand and getting it to 8, and then beating City and getting it to 5. And then you're probably looking at, that would leave 16 league games left, I think. So it'll be 5 points with 16 left. Would you give up, Kev, with 5 points with 16 left?
That's a hope.
No?
That's all. I wouldn't give up anyway, because in fairness, with the way COVID is at the minute, that can run right through any club, and it affects every club. And we've seen how it affects us. So at the end of the day, you never say never, especially with this league. Results can change, and form changes, and Europe comes into the equation, and you just got to keep winning. You just got to start winning games. We need to get back to winning games. We need to get back to clean sheets, and we need to get back to winning games. That's all we need to do. Worry about everything else. There's nothing we can do about anything else. We can't control what City do. We can't get involved in what they do. We can't worry about Chelsea or anyone else. We start winning games, and that's all that matters. Fuck everyone else.
A super chat from AGD says, or AgD says, Milner should be a closer, not a starter. I thought he was probably the best of the three today, to be honest with you. I thought Fabinho looked awful, like he does when he comes back, and I thought Henderson was terrible, to be honest with you.
He was the one who was neither or.
Yeah, it just wasn't. He wasn't for me today at all. Let me see. Owenborg says he'd be pissed by the time the Fatback 4 comes up, so apologies in advance. And Henry D8 says, so Virgil has recovered from the plague as if it didn't exist. He now has 100 years of natural immunity. Will Dr. Klopp still tell him to get the fourth poison jab? Well, Virgil, I think, had a positive PCR test, had no symptoms whatsoever, and had to sit out for 5 to 7 days and came back. So I don't know how much recovery he done. The fourth poison jab, well, I've had 2 of them. I feel grand. Unless just being me is a reflection of getting that jab. But it's
no, that's what golf does to you.
That's what, that's
too much of that walking in fresh air.
Listen, I haven't had enough walking in fresh air. I started me healthy buzz today. I went to the zoo and everything, walked the whole zoo.
I haven't been up there in years.
They sent us the long way, Kev, and everything. I was fuming. And then the baby wanted to be carried, and then he wanted to be walked here and there and everything. I felt like I was at the bleeding, going through a walkout with Joe Rogan by the time I got to the end of it. But I've had my cereal today. I've had my fruit, orange juice, healthy Christmas, not Christmas dinner, healthy Sunday dinner. That was okayed by my wife. That said, yeah, you're okay to eat that. Walk away, because I just asked for everything now with regards to eating. So
next week. We'll start next week.
I'm on it now.
That thing they do a news talk with 100 days of walking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to start doing that now from tomorrow. 100 days of walk, 100 nights of walking.
Good stuff. Well, listen, thanks for joining us, Kev. Everyone in the chat, thanks for joining us. Make sure to join us at 10 o'clock as well. And hit the like on your way out if you can. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll see you at 10 p.m. And don't forget, we're back live tomorrow afternoon for our new show that's going to be on Monday to Friday, so make sure you check that out as well. That has been the Full Time Reds. Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.